Attention, please.
No.
That means stop talking. Thank you. So, as I'm sure many of you have known or come to know, my fighting name is Quinn, but my true name as a gnoll is Gnarlhide. The reason for that is very simple. When gnolls undergo the rites to become a farseer, a lore keeper, they eat of the gnarled root. It makes them go a little crazy, but it gives them something far greater than sanity. The hide comes from the fact that it took me a long time to start this journey, for a variety of reasons. I won't go into too much depth because that's not the point of this, but if you're curious, feel free to ask. Now, the reason why today is a somewhat momentous occasion is because we have a new petitioner on the path of Fangoma. For those of you who have not heard this term, rest assured, it will come to your ears more in the coming moons. For those of you who are not sure what it means, it is a gnoll who is a lore keeper, one who has great love for the race and great love for the stories that we tell. It's taken much time to prepare these trials. There will be 6. At this event, there will only be 2, perhaps fewer if they are not passed. With that said, I put myself forward as the first nominee to seek the title of Fangoma, with Dagger, the eldest gnoll present, as my witness. What I will do now is I will present to you the items of my station. I will give any gnolls present a chance to object or air their grievances. And if there are no concerns, no questions, then we'll begin phase 2 of the trial after this is finished. So, the first trial of 6 is the trial of creation. Good place to start, as you might imagine. For the beginning, or in the beginning, gnolls were created as a result of a clash between gods and goddesses. I won't do the full story here, because that's a trial for another day. But know that gnolls had a great and terrible creation. And in my way, I'm creating my own items of office. The first item, perhaps the most important to a gnoll, is the collar. We wear the collar not as a means of subservience or to say that we are weak, but because we are strong, because we are bound to our fellow gnolls, and because we want to protect our necks. For as you may know, or may not, in ancient times, the ways that gnolls showed dominance over one another was to bite at their necks, because it's very hard to disagree with someone when they can rip out your jugular. So this bit of leather not only protects us, but connects us to our history. The second item that I have is my staff. It's a little bit ragged. It's worse for wear because of the trip, but I think that gives it more character. The reason why I have this staff is because it helps me carry the weight of the terrible knowledge that I have. It's pretty crazy, guys. Not gonna lie. The third thing that I have is my war paint. This war paint is essential to me for a few reasons. It is essential because it allows me to strike fear into the hearts of my enemies. It is essential to me because it reminds me of my place in the world. And it is essential to me because it speaks to the creation of the gnolls. For those of you who don't know, the, for lack of a better term, creation deity for the gnolls is called Anka. And in her struggle to create the gnolls, she went blind. And so I cover my eyes in black paint as a tribute to her. Now, the last thing that I'll talk about is my garb. I think it speaks to the gnoll in many ways. I have my stripes, my earth tones, and I am ready to take on any opponent that would challenge me, either with regards to lore or with regards to swords. With that being said, I will now open the floor. Does anyone have any objections to me beginning this trial?
Does a staff so unornamented? Actually, you got closer. There's very much ornament to it. Tell me about the stone on.
Well, as you may notice, there are several stones. The reason for this is several-fold. One is that should an enemy attack, it is a sharper point to put into their body, quicker to dispatch them with. The second is that these are stones of great power, that they do not shine as much as they once did. They fill me with magical energy that allow me to better commune. And lastly, and perhaps most importantly, as I continue and ultimately finish my journey, I will add more and more runes to this staff, further showing my connection to the gods, or the goddess specifically, and to Null culture. Does that answer your question?
Completely.
Why do we need Fangomas?
That is a good question, and I will tell you. Every race, as it grows, needs keepers of lore. There are many reasons for this. One is because if we do not have stories about ourselves, we will never become as strong as we could be. We will be lost with no identity to speak of, and we will be just another confused race lost in the world. We also need Fangoma as a guide, someone to step forward and say, this is what a Null is, this is what a Null can be, this is where the race belongs. Does that answer your question?
It does.
Any more questions?
What
Right.
is your second step?
My second step, that is an excellent question. So, the next step in the trial of 6 is the trial of reverence. Now, Anka, our creation goddess, was known for keeping hyenas, the hyenas that eventually became gnolls. She treated them with much love and much respect. And I feel it is the role of the Fangoma to go forth to the Null community and also earn that respect. So my goal before the end of this event will be to go to all of the Nulls present, or as many as I can find, and ask them for a task or trial of some sort. They're supposed to be lore-based, but we can have a conversation about that as needed. So, for those of you who don't know me, or perhaps don't know me as well as you would like, this will be your chance if you're a Null. I mean, of course you can come talk to me otherwise, but the trial will specifically be for Nulls. So,
Yeah, I got a head scratcher.
Completely.
I got a head scratcher.
yeah.
You gonna be the only Fango whatever? Or if there's another one, you gonna bite him?
That's a good question. I will bite them.
Yeah.
Probably not. I'm in a relationship. So, to answer your question, though I may be the first, it is my hope that I will be far from the last. After this path is open, fully and completely, any other Null who so seeks the title will be able to do so.
They gotta beat you for it?
No. Well, in a way. They don't have to beat me physically, but they do need to prove that they have the mettle and the ability to fulfill the role of office.
Huh.
Okay.
Okay.
Or cannot understand. No fight.
No.
Or like no
Scheme.
Okay, let me explain in words you understand. They gotta do
And
this.
don't you patronize to me.
They gotta do it. They gotta do the same thing, but they gotta do it real good. Real good.
Yeah, okay.
With that said, thank you everyone for your time. I want to remind you that this is the first of but 6 challenges. So if you are approached by me in the future at other events, it's probably going to be a fun time. Rest assured.
Don't you
That,
Don't you do any of that weird Fango mask stuff to me.
Just you wait. So with that, thank you everyone. I think we can consider this trial complete.
Yeah.